O'Neill. 2 L's. I serve the SGC under a General Hammond.
We're explorers. You see, we're from another planet.
The unstable vortex of a forming wormhole. Kawoosh.
Indeed.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kawoosh podcast. I'm your host Arne. I'm joined as always by my co-host
Evie. Hi.
And today we're talking about the fifth race. Did it come back to you what it was about?
Yeah, it came back to me as we were watching it. There's a cat in here.
There's a cat in here, and if you hear some background noise, there is a lot of cars outside because they're working on two places in our street right next to our house. We're just in the middle of all the roadworks at the moment.
It's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse. Anyway, let's dive into the episode. We're in the briefing room, and Daniel is explaining that they were looking into some planets. They sent a map and they got an image back, and it is one of the kinds of writing that they found in the episode where they go back and find Ernest. So in that room there were 4 types of writing, and they found a place right now, and there is a circle on the floor in one of the writings that they found before.
Smooth.
Yeah, and they're thinking because one of the writings was for the Asgard, and they were allies, that this might also be allies.
Which is, I mean, this is such a, I'm sure it's going to be fine, Daniel moment. Like, they were allies eons ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, alliances can shift, Daniel. I mean, they don't in this instance, but a lot of the time Daniel goes like, obviously it means this. Like, that's, again,
there's a lot of presuming
not
going
how
around.
science
Yeah.
works, but you know.
So they go exploring, they step through the gate, and they enter in a big squarish space. There's only a Stargate in it, there's a DHD in it, and then there's this circle on the ground with the lettering. There's no exit. Daniel starts yelling out that they're peaceful explorers from Earth. Jack is immediately annoyed by the whole thing and wants to return home. And when he goes to the Stargate, he steps through the ring on the floor with the letters, and something appears on the wall behind them. And it looks very Giger-esque.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, don't touch that. That looks like, you know, it could impregnate you. And then you have a chest burster on base.
It's quite funny. They're
Sorry, what happens if a chest burster has to come out of where there's already
where there's a gold larva?
Wouldn't the gold like continuously heal and prevent the larva from developing?
Or they get supercharged.
Like a hybrid, or like there's.
It's actually funny that it looks kind of weird and alien, because if this is something from the ancients, then it's clear that they didn't decide on a style yet, on a
Yeah, true.
because this does not look like something from the ancients.
No, and even when it activates, it looks very horror-like.
Yeah.
They clearly went for a kind of shock factor.
Tilk steps up to the thing and he looks inside it, and they ask, "What do you see?" And he says, "Blackness and colored lights." And then Jack steps up to it, and the thing, we see some lights, and then it jumps out and it grabs his head. And then it flashes, "Let's go," and then Jack falls to the ground unresponsive. So they dial the gate.
Well, what I felt like in this scene, like it felt very low energy. First he gets grabbed, and Teal'c and Sam literally do this. And that's it! That's all the reaction they give. Like, oh, what happened now? And then he falls down, and they don't rush over to him. They just walk up to him, and Daniel's like, wake up. He's unresponsive. His pulse is... It just felt very low energy. It felt sort of like they were padding it because it needed to be a certain length. I don't know, but it felt low energy, and throughout the episode, it was a good episode. And the writing was solid, but it felt like they were missing, energy. I can't really explain it any other way. It felt like they were never really worried.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like they had some concern, and that's about it. But nobody really panics.
Yeah, and I understand you cannot start with panic and then keep that level of panic up throughout the episode, but it was all very low DEFCON level throughout the episode.
Yeah, that's a good point, because later on there is some stuff that that happens, that you might think that certain people will react a little more to it.
Yeah.
So when we get back from the credits, Dr. Fraser is checking up on Jack.
And we can only let you know this by shining a light in someone's eye. That's the only thing a doctor can do on a Stargate base. It's like to take a little pen light and shine in your eye. And then they will clear you, and they'll not confirm you to base or to the the infirmary until they know more. They're just gonna be like, you look fine. Walk it off.
It does kind of make sense, because what happened to him is not something that you can see with like a basic check.
Yes, because this never happened before, that somebody comes back and they can't see something happened, but then it turned out that something did. I don't know. She was also very low energy to me, this and like throughout the entire episode, she's like, oh, okay, like, I don't know. Let's wait and see, which is never a real good thing for a doctor.
Yeah, basically his pupils are back to normal, his pulse is fine, so he's good to go. Sam does say he was catatonic for about an hour, but physically the doctor can't find anything wrong with him, so he's good to go. Hammond is debriefing the team later on, and he wants to know what made the thing appear, and why didn't it go for Teal'c. So they're speculating, of course, that it is because he has the Gwold larva inside of him. And Jack, during the whole scene, seems a bit restless and annoyed.
I wrote down snippy.
Yeah, and they finally ask him if there's something wrong with him, and he answers. He says he's fine. There is nothing Cruvus with him. I don't remember how he said it, but
I think it was Cruvus.
Yeah. And he denies he said anything weird, but they all heard it, so they dismiss him. Hammond dismisses him, but he asks him to stay on base while resting up, so they can keep an eye. Well, and he tells the others specifically to keep an eye on him.
Which they then come to interpret in, let's walk behind him and see what he does. And then we're like, interesting. Like, they give this guy a lot of leeway in this episode, which, of course, you need to, otherwise nothing happens. But, yeah.
Then we get to a very funny scene. Jack and Teal'c are in the gym, and Jack is full of energy, and he wants to box. And Teal'c does not understand what the point of it is. And it's also very funny because Jack's padded up all the way, helmet, gloves, padding in the crotch, everything. Teal'c, nothing.
He's wearing the gloves.
Only the gloves.
And then he says, it's so we don't hurt each other. And Teal'c just cocks his eye. And I'll be honest with you, Teal'c, so you don't hurt me. And throughout this entire scene, Teal'c is the definition of deadpan. If you look up deadpan in the dictionary, there's a picture of Teal'c just going. It's brilliant. I love it a lot.
Yeah, it's so funny. Jack throws a punch and he's unmoved, like it's a wall, and then he just slightly punches Jack and he goes down.
And like dramatically too, like with a whole roll and everything.
It's very funny. They have amazing chemistry.
They do.
Because this is so predictable, yet it is very, very funny.
Like, and just from the moment they start, you can just see Teal'c going like, this is going to end bad. And not for me. You just...
But yeah, Jack jumps up and he says to keep his Khazars bent. And he's referring to his legs.
I would think knees, personally.
I was thinking the same thing. And Teal'c was like, I think you mean your legs. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he meant his knees, but fine.
I mean...
Daniel is doing some research in his lab, or I don't know, is it a library? He has this room full of books and ancient stolen stuff. And then Jack barges in.
Archaeology!
Yeah, and he demands to know what's wrong with him because he continues to use unfamiliar words.
And then he does it, and then it wasn't on purpose, which is really
cool. He says phalatus.
You wrote all of them down?
A bunch of them in the beginning.
You wrote down so much. Yeah. I love Jack throughout this entire episode because he plays the right amount of frustrated, not knowing what he's doing while he's doing it.
Especially later on.
Yeah. Like, he gets more and more, not exactly confused, but like, I'm doing stuff and I don't know what I'm doing. And but his acting is really on point throughout this entire thing.
So Daniel thinks that it sounds a little bit like Latin. So he starts looking it up and...
he uses an actual dictionary for it.
Well, yeah. And Jack is staring at the computer screen where we see the circle of words from the beginning, and he starts just reading it. He speaks what he sees. So Daniel wants to know if he knows what it means, but he doesn't. He just sees the words and he speaks them.
That's kind of like me with Korean. I don't know what I'm saying. I can read it, but like, what did you just say? Like, I don't know. I just sound out.
Spicy chicken.
It was. Never mind.
So Daniel brings Sam into the lab to explain what happened to Jack, and he shows her a chalkboard that apparently filled with equations, but Sam can't make any sense of it. Then we go back to the doctor, who has, in the meantime, done a scan, a brain scan, and she's coming up with the trope that normal humans only use 10% of their brains, and Jack is now using 90% of his brain.
Which is fake news. It's been debunked over and over. But yeah.
It's also unlogical.
It is very unlogical, but it used to be very popular. Like, we only use this much of our brain. And then later on, she uses a completely different number to say the same thing, basically. I'm like, doctor, you're not even trying anymore. Like, can you be consistent in what you're claiming here?
Yeah, and while they're talking about that, Till comes in. He's looking for Jack, but apparently Jack has gone. So
this is actually very believable, because every parent has had this moment. I thought you were watching the kid, and the kid is gone. Like, we all thought somebody else had him.
So yeah, they split up and they go look for him. And
because checking the camera feed was too logical.
I don't know. Sam does find him in the locker room, and he's taking something out of Teal'c's staff weapon. It looks like a power source of something, and he says he needs it, but he doesn't know what for.
And Sam doesn't confiscate it. She doesn't go like, that's Teal'c's personal locker. How did you get in there? Like, no, that's not important.
Or like, oh, you're taking the energy core of a weapon. That sure.
Yeah.
It's going to turn out fine.
Like, throughout this entire episode, like, what are you doing, bud? It's like, isn't this toddler neat? He's making stuff with cardboard boxes and really good. Like, no.
Oh, look, he's hooking up the car battery.
Right? Well, boys will be boys.
Hammond later on wants to know if it's dangerous, but the doc says that he she doesn't know what's wrong. His brain is working 10 times faster than normal. That's what she's saying here. Like, that's not what you're saying last time, but okay. And he's speaking the alien language against his will, which is actually a good point that they bring up, but they never really go back to that.
No, but that is actually a thing that can happen. Like, sometimes brain trauma can make it so you can still understand your language, but you cannot speak it anymore. That is actually a thing that happens.
Is what is happening right here. So they talk to him in English, he understands them, but whatever he answers, it's in the alien language. So they're trying to figure out what happened, and they think that the machine might have downloaded something into his brain.
Which, it feels like a long time for them to come to this conclusion.
Yeah. Also, they repeat here that it probably didn't go for Teal'c because he has a Gwald inside. Like, yeah, we figured that out already.
Junior gets blamed for a lot of shit. Poor kid.
Then Teal'c requests their presence in the control room because Jack is in there and he's typing like mad on the computer. And nobody stopped him.
Nobody stops him. Everyone's like, what are you doing, bud? And I do love that Jack goes, you know me and computers. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing.
He does know what he's doing. He can't stop himself. And at this point, they do try to stop him, but he's fighting back because he needs to finish whatever it is he's doing.
Like, personally, right when he started speaking alien language, I would have locked him out of the computer just as a precaution.
Yeah,
That's just me, maybe. Like, I don't know.
After he's done, the computer kind of locks up and reboots on its own, and then suddenly a bunch of new Stargate locations pop up on their destination map. And they're all new ones. They're different from the cartouche on Abydos. And for some reason, it seems like a whole bunch of data seems to be downloaded into Jack. So they're kind of repeating the same thing over and over here.
This is also where I wrote down, why is nobody more? Because they're not as they're not as worried as I think they should be. They're not as like panicked as I think they should be. And it's not the actors. It's not like they're phoning it in. It's like they were told, okay, slower. Like, we need to pad this out.
The problem is is if somebody does something decisive, then the story just stops.
I know, but yeah.
Yeah, and then at this point, Hammond tells him not to touch anything in the basement. Yeah, thank you, Hammond. It's a bit
That's
too late
enough,
for
man.
that, but
You're
okay.
grounded, like the house is already on fire, but okay.
So later on, Sam tells Jack that his coding rewrote most of the computers or the computer system, and they can't undo it. And then Jack kind of shrugs,
I mean,
which was weird. But then Daniel says like he completely lost the ability to speak anything but the alien language, but they are a step closer to translating. He says that the text that they're translating says something in the line of "We are the ancients," which I always thought is kind of funny because why would you refer to yourself as the ancients
I
at
don't
that
know.
time period?
I
like
don't- well-
in their present. Like, if there's only 5 of you left, then you can say, yes, we're the only ones left
maybe
with the
that was
ancients.
just maybe
but-
that was just their last name, and then it became to be known as something
Yeah.
else. I don't know, but yeah, good point.
And then Daniel thinks, and he kind of makes a parallel with the Romans, like they're the teachers of roads, like the Romans who built roads and they were taught by the gods.
I know that Stargate is old, and that I should give it some leeway, but I never felt it never sat right with me. Like, this civilization could never be this smart. It must have been taught to them by somebody else, because it's racist at the base of it.
Yeah.
But that's not the point I wanted to make now. I'm sorry. I
No, but it is a valid point. Although here he kind of wants to tell, like,
yeah.
he says, like, there was a race, they're probably the Stargate builders.
Yeah, that's what he's building up
Yeah.
to. Yeah. I have a fun fact about the Romans being the first road builders. Did you know that the width of a space shuttle can be blamed?
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Because the space shuttle needs to be transported by train.
And
a
the train
train has the same width of the rails because it is based on the width of the wheels of a wagon.
Yeah.
Because it needed to fit 2 horses, I think, in
Yeah.
between them.
So a train is based on a chariot, and the shuttle was based on the train because it had to fit on the train.
Yeah,
So
funny.
the more you know.
And I did know that.
Yeah. Also, chariots are why we drive on the right side of the road, but not in certain countries. Which is apparently Napoleon's fault. Anyway,
No, it's fine. It's interesting. It's interesting. But let's get back to what Daniel calls the place of our legacy. So apparently where they were, it's called the place of our legacy. So again, they're reiterating that Jack might have downloaded a database of ancient knowledge into his brain. Like,
you know what it might be, though, that they have to repeat it like every commercial block, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Like if you're late into the episode that you can still follow it or something.
I don't know.
Jack says something and Daniel translates it as, I need a new location.
And they translate it word for word. That is not how sentence construction works. You cannot just construct a sentence in the exact same way in a different language. Maybe in Roman? Roman? Is that wait?
Latin.
Latin, thank you. That's not a language. Maybe Latin to English, yeah.
He grabbed like the most important words, translated them, and then you have like a rough sentence.
I'm just saying, like, if you
But
translate in a different language, the words would not be...
Yeah, like if you go to French, they move their words around. The English do the same thing with some of their words are other than like
Yeah,
in
and the
another
verb isn't
position that
always
we
in front of
yeah,
the-
we would
depending on where
put
you
it
are.
differently. Yeah,
But,
but
that's just a pet peeve of mine. Whenever they like go up into hieroglyphics and then be like, no, like that's not how. That could mean 3 different things depending on context,
Mm-hmm.
for starters.
Sam says that she wishes she knew what the chalkboard is all about, and then Jack hands her a note and it says 10 equals 8, and she takes a look at it, she takes a look at the blackboard, and she kind of gets what he's talking about, and she starts working on the blackboard, trying to solve it. Doctor is saying that Jack is filled with information and he doesn't understand or can speak, and it might be too much, so they are fearing that his body might shut down because it's clearly deteriorating.
And again, they're not all too bothered by it.
They've got time.
I mean, well, yeah, but it's starting to feel a little bit like Like,
They're-
yeah, he's a main character. He's gonna be fine. I don't know.
They're more like, this is very, very grave. This is serious. Like that's the kind of acting they're doing. This is serious acting.
Yeah,
This is not
it's-
an action episode. Jack might die. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see the low energy. It's like they're trying to make it too serious, and it's like sucking all of the energy out of the episode.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, it's
not
not a bad-
necessarily the episode, but out of the acting.
It's not a bad episode, but at no point in time did I fear for Jack's life. And not just because this is just season 2. Just...
Daniel then goes to Hammond, and he says that they found a planet with a pedestal near the gate that has the same language written on it. But so they want to go there, but he says, like, I don't want to go because the translation is very important. It's the ancients, it's the meaning of life
No.
stuff, and also he's the only one who can communicate with Jack.
No.
so-
What Daniel says is, this might be the most important thing that we've done since we started traveling through the gates. And I'm like, really, Daniel?
He
Hey,
forgot
Daniel,
his
do
wife.
you remember your wife? Do you remember helping her with a baby? Do you, like, really, this is the most important thing? Really? I hope she divorces you, dude. Like, rude. Like,
So yeah, in the end, Daniel stays while the rest go. So Sam and Tilk go on the mission, and they get 2 replacements.
and I got a little bit sidewinded at first, because at first they replaced Jack with Castleman, was it? And the fact that they just point him out, like, you're gonna get one new guy on the team, and his name is this. I'm like, is that a red shirt? Is that what's happening here? But then both of them come back fine, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. I just got conditioned in Star Trek that if somebody new joins the team for one away mission, he's gone. Like, you're never seeing that one again. Like, maybe in a different costume on a different deck, and he'll have a different character name, but he'll be gone. Jack is killing it with the acting, though. I
Yeah,
wrote
he's
down.
watching them from the control room, and he has like pain in his eyes, like he's not speaking. And this is the part that I'm like, yeah, he's really nailing it. Like he's
Nailing it throughout the entire episode. Like, but the rest doesn't have as much to work with, I feel.
yeah. Jack is getting more annoyed. Daniel tries to figure out what's going on, and then Jack is typing, and he types in English that he needs to go through the Stargate, and then Daniel asks him where. Hammond, meanwhile, is sitting in his office, and Simmons comes in, and he does have lines in this one, so he really is a recurring character in this season.
He also calls out the chevrons later on.
Yeah. The team, SG-1, did not send a probe back on schedule, so they open a connection to the planet and manage to get a hold of Sam. She's on the TV, and she tells them they're stuck. The DHD froze up as they were trying to send through the probe, and the planet apparently is heating up, and they need to go shelter.
Yeah, there was a second sun that
Yeah.
they didn't see on the first probe, which is a problem because it's gonna get really, really hot.
So in the lab, Jack is building something.
And I was just like, the doctor was just sitting there watching him build, and I'm like, wasn't he not supposed to touch anything?
Yep.
He's building something that looks very much like a bomb. Let's be honest here. It has
yeah.
a power source and everything. It's like, what is he doing? I don't know. I'm just taking.
and-
I'm just
and-
taking notes. Like, what?
And he
what?
puts in the power source that he took from Teal'c's staff weapon.
And then,
so-
and then he pushes a button like, oh, I wonder what this is like. No worry about anything at all. Also, he's MacGyvering,
yeah.
which just know everybody was making that joke on set, probably.
In the briefing room, we get some unnamed characters, some scientists, I'm betting, and they're trying to find a solution to get SG-1 back without outlandish inventions, because it's Siler and one guy, and then later on there's a
I've seen that
couple of
one
more.
guy before.
Yeah?
Maybe I'm remembering it from future episodes, but I feel like we've seen him before or later. Time is a wibbly wobbly.
I'm not sure.
Timey-wimey.
It could be because he comes over
Maybe
as
he's
being
just a very generic scientist with the curly hair
Yeah.
and the bright eye and this is very interesting. People are dying. This is so interesting. Like maybe it's
like
just
I
that.
have an invention. Like
He's like Tweed and like the lanyard, and
Yeah.
maybe it's just that. But he sells scientists like right off the bat. So hey, well done.
So yeah, we check in with Sam. She says the DHD froze up mid-dial and the temperature is still rising, and they will, if they can't save them, they will be dead by the end of the day. So now we have a ticking clock.
Yeah, And then Daniel, for some reason, decides to tape that message and then show that message to Jack, because only that's the only way he can tell Jack, look, Sam's in trouble for some reason.
Yeah,
which
that was a bit weird. So yeah, Jack is still constructing the thing, and he seems to be more or less done. Well, when Daniel enters, he switches the thing on, and the light goes on, and it buzzes. Okay, yeah. And then Daniel wants him to come along, so he plays the tape from Sam. And then Daniel asks if there's anything in his knowledge that can help. And Jack starts taking some stuff and puts it out on the table and starts drawing something. And then the doctor and Daniel are just watching and wondering what he's doing. So and they're like talking to each other while he's doing it. So he writes down, "Shut up and go,"
which was is awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Also, like, okay, yeah, sure, that works. I did have like a very small minor pet peeve. He takes like a, what do you call it? Passer. It has a very weird English name.
Yeah, what you use to draw circles.
And he just puts it on the page, and he doesn't draw a circle with it. He just uses it to like draw a line, and then he puts it down again. I'm like, what?
And later on, he did draw some circles in there, so yeah. So we go back to the briefing room. There's some more people there. They're still discussing a solution. And then Jack comes in with a drawing, and it is the DHD device, and there's a way to fix it.
I love how there was no time, and none of this looks rushed. It looks like an artist had all the time in the world to make this very, very pretty. Like, this is not something a scientist hastily doodles.
No, it was...
This
pristine.
It was
the
pristine.
Drawing was really well done.
It was very nice. I mean, kudos to whoever made it.
It was like a blueprint kind of drawing.
Yeah, they should have like mildly corrected that a little bit. But yeah.
They contact the planet again and send this plan through, and then sometime later the gate activates and SG-1 comes through. Sam wants to know who came up with the plan, and they all point at Jack.
And Jack goes like,
yeah. And then Teal'c walks up to him and he apologizes. And he says they did not find a way to help him. A bit later on, Sam has freshened up and they're all looking at the device that Jack built, but nobody knows what it is for. And then an alarm goes off, and they were planning to activate the gate, but it is not working. And they also notice that it is drawing a lot more power than usual.
Which, do they ever explain why that happens?
Yes, because it is to dial...
Yeah, but who started dialing?
That is a very good question.
Is that something Jack wrote into the program without knowing?
It must have been, because at first I was thinking that device was maybe something that sent out a signal and that they arrived or something, but no, it's not that.
I think so. We're saying it was something in the computer programming.
It must have been, yeah.
Okay.
Like on a timer or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jack takes his device and he goes to the same location we saw a couple of episodes ago, where
they
with
have the
main,
raptors.
Yeah, where they have the raptors and the main breaker, and he just connects the thing.
Remember when Hammond said
with starting cables?
Remember when Hammond said, "Don't let him touch anything"?
Yeah, nobody's looking at him.
What are you doing, bud? Like, nobody's stopping him. Like,
Teal'c does follow him, and he looks on as he plugs the device in, and he switches it on, and the gates starts drawing even more power, and the circuits don't blow because he put his battery on there.
Which, I mean, I get what you're trying to do, but have you ever tried to hook a battery car up with those cables? Like, they have to be exact, or I mean, that could have gone wrong.
Could have gone wrong, yeah. Then the gate starts dialing out, and Sam doesn't know where. They have no control over it.
And again, nobody really panics.
No, they're all very curious.
They're like, ooh, that's basically is they're more curious to see what happens, and it's like everybody was given the script beforehand. Like, nobody dies in this. It's okay. You don't have to panic. Like,
yeah. Somehow, it's like in the back of their mind, they know it's gonna turn out fine.
Yeah.
They're all just like, oh, okay, this is new.
While the gate was dialing, I suddenly realized, like, oh, we're gonna get an H chevron. Like, that's like, ooh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. What I do wonder is who programmed in the icon for an H chevron, because that's not a thing.
No, the gate is capable of doing it.
Huh?
There are 8 chevrons on the gate.
Yeah, but they never use them.
No.
So nobody would have programmed it into the computer. That's not how programmers work.
Jack reprogrammed it.
He programmed a little icon with number 8 and everything. That feels, yeah, I don't know. I'm
Ah,
overthinking
like
it.
that. Did they show us
Yes.
the 8th one? Oh.
Like it suddenly appeared underneath the other one.
Oh, okay, yeah,
it was like-
yeah, TV logic.
Yeah, TV logic,
okay,
that's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
Daniel comes into the control room. He says that Jack built a power source, and then, okay, Sam says
And we
that...
let him just hook it up, sir. It's fine.
Sam says that explains why the gate is still going, and...
Which Sam doesn't go, you what? Like, no. Oh, yeah, that explains it. Like, Sam, no, what? You're very blasé about a computer that...
And then at this point, you said it already, we have the 7th chevron that is encoded but not locked. So they're all confused, like, it didn't lock. And then it's still going, and Hammond is like, that's weird, isn't the 7th one the point of origin? And then it encodes an 8th chevron, which is the one from Earth. So that's the point of origin. And it is, and then it goes and it activates. So the 8th one locks and it activates, and the wormhole is going way out of their galaxy. And Sam thinks that the 8th chevron might be a distance calculation to the existing points. So I actually did not remember that this came up this early. I thought they really did that way later when they're coming up with Atlantis.
Well, no, but this is... They only do this once, and they go to a place that they can't really visit yet. Because...
Yeah, but it's really cool that when they came up with the whole Atlantis thing, that they remembered, like, oh, we have this built in already. We can just take this, and the only thing they had to invent was the ZPM, because they needed a power source to do the thing that they already did. So that is just really, really cool world building. Like, they're keeping track of all these things that they put in there. Like, I like that very much. Without a word, Jack starts moving to go out, and Hammond wants to stop him, but Daniel says, like, he's already gone.
I love that line. Like, I'm supposed to just let you go, and Daniel's like, he's already gone. And that is a nice line. If anybody was, like, a little bit worried about him, like, they're all just like, he's gone.
Yeah, he's
It's
already
okay.
gone. It's
We had a
fine.
good run.
Just let him go.
It's okay. We have Castleman. Castleman seems nice. I mean, it's just...
Teal'c wants to accompany Jack, but Daniel thinks he needs to do this alone. I'm like, why? But okay.
Yeah.
And then Sam wants to... And this was very convoluted. Sam runs in, and she's like, oh, he needs the device to send the security code, because otherwise the iris won't open for him. And then they just go, and Hammond goes like, I kind of get it, but it's like, oh no, we don't want him to have it, because if something goes wrong, somebody else who knows where might have a device.
Yes, this is why you give it to Teal'c and send Teal'c along. Right?
Exactly. So like, the explanation makes sense, but
yeah.
like,
and also Sam's just like, okay, and just wanders off again.
It's,
Like,
it's
what?
the fact that you're going out of your way to explain that
Yeah.
you're not giving it, like, oh, this is a bit too
Yeah.
much information. So yeah, Daniel then runs up to Jack, who is standing right in front of the event horizon, and he tells him that he might not be able to come back. But Jack, after like a little look, steps through it. And I thought this was really cool, because they're setting up like, oh, it's really far away, it's a long wormhole. We actually get some extra footage from way back in the original movie and in the pilot. The trip is really long, and there's some more shots in there of the star field stretching, and they're putting this back in to elongate the trip again, so we have the feeling as a viewer like, oh, this is a longer trip.
Yeah, and also they track it and they lose him. And it's like, we've lost the traveler, which is again a banger line. And then
Yeah, he gets thrown out of the gate at the other end, and he's confronted by the Asgard.
And I love how they introduce them, because first you see like just a little shadow poking out, and then you just see their feet, and they don't just go like bam, here they are.
Yeah, like it's details, and at the end there's this really beautiful shot, like a very big hallway, and with a lot of them in there to show that like this is a city. Really, really cool. And he speaks to them in the alien language, and they recognize it as the language of the ancients, and it's really cool. They have their own language. They get subtitled in
Yeah.
English, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then they eventually switch to English because they've studied Earth and they
Which begs the question: does that mean you know all the languages of Earth?
just
Is-
English.
Is that
They watched
like
movies.
is that like mandatory in school? Like just English? Like that seems like a weird language to pick. I would have gone with Chinese. Like if you looked
yeah.
at Earth and be like, which language are we going to choose? Like yeah, okay.
Yeah. What do they speak the most?
Yeah, that's-
Chinese.
Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, but they recognize that he's from Earth, but he's speaking the language of the ancients, so they decide to help him. And it's actually very easy because one of them has like a gemstone in his hand, and it kind of made me think of the Goa'uld with their device. So I think that was a cool little nod, and he sucks the information out of him, or something.
Yeah, but
it's very
you know,
fast.
yeah, it's very fast.
Then on Earth, Sam is trying to dial the 8th symbol, but it doesn't work. And then Sylar calls in from the where the power board is, and he tells them that the power source is dead. So Jack is stuck. Meanwhile, Jack wakes up on the and the two Asgard tell him that he's on the world Othala, which is one of their colonies, I think. And he thanks them. And he recognizes them like, oh, you're Thor's race.
And I love like, you know, Thor. It's like, oh no, Thor has a reputation. He's like, not Thor, really? That guy?
And then they explain to him that he looked into the archive of the ancients, but it is not meant for him, and his brain could not take all of the knowledge. But his subconscious apparently knew that the Asgard could be found here, and they could help him, so that's why they built the thing and traveled there. And then Jack says that he's surprised that they know so much of humans, and they say we've studied Earth for a long time.
We have studied your species closely, is what has been said in this series, and I'm like, okay.
Well, they do chose them
They
as
do-
they
they
really
did
look like the
choose-
grey
yeah,
ones.
they
So
did choose-
like they
choose-
keep poking fun
Yeah.
at that fact that it's
Like, exactly how close are we talking?
anal probing.
You can't say that.
Sure, I can.
You can get flagged.
Yeah, and they also say that the humans have great potential, and that there were once there were 4 great races: the Asgard, the Nox. Jack goes like, "Madam." The Furlings, we didn't meet those, and the Ancients. And the human race has much to prove to be able to reach their level. Jack tells them, and this was also a very good line,
Yeah.
like, we're out there now, and we're doing the best that we can, and we're a very curious race.
And I love how Jack is a better ambassador than Daniel is.
Yeah.
Because Daniel overthinks too much, and he often says what he thinks the other wants to hear. Jack is just honest, and he says like, "Look,
Like,
this
we're
is how
out
it
there,
is."
we're gonna make mistakes, we're doing our
Yeah.
best, and that's what it, and
Like
and
there's
I
no
l-
pandering there.
Yeah.
There's just a level of
Yeah.
honesty, and that
And then-
works.
Yeah, because they say that, first one of the Asgard reaches out his hand and he shakes Jack's hand, and he says that that they've begun to take steps to become the 5th race.
The puppeteering is on point too.
It's always on point. I
Yeah.
love those puppets.
Yep.
So yeah, on Earth, Sam wants to do a reboot because they can't even close the iris at this point, and then the gate activates, incoming traveler, and Jack steps out, and they're all relieved to see him, and then afterwards the system comes back online and the iris is back, so it's all fixed.
I was wondering about this because Hammond says, "Can't you do anything?" And Sam's like, no, the system is kaput. And then the second Jack steps through, she's like, "Oh, everything works again." I'm like, "Yeah, were you doing that? Were you stalling?
Yeah,
Were
it
you
was
stalling?
it was weird,
that,
like, and
was that in there?
Yeah.
Either it was very handy script writing, but I would like to believe that Sam did it on purpose. Like, button
would've-
doesn't work.
It would have been nice if they played that up more.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't clear.
No, it wasn't clear. And it could very well be that I'm reading too much into it. But
No, but it would make sense.
Yeah.
And it would be more logical than everything's fine
Yeah.
suddenly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Daniel wants to know what happened, and then Tilk wants to know if he still has the knowledge of the ancients, and then Jack says, nope. But all that meaning of life stuff, he thinks that they're going to be all right. And then he gives a very nice smile before the episode ends. yeah, I think we kind of said what we think about this one. Like the idea is really cool.
Yeah, and it's very much Stargate, and it very much built on the
Yeah,
lore
but
and
it's
everything.
slow.
It's a bit slow, and there's nobody fears for anything.
Yeah, there's a lot of story beats that get repeated, and you're kind of going like, yes, we know this already. Can we move to the next thing? But then,
And Jack's acting is on point, but
Mm-hmm.
in my head, it would have worked better if like Jack's ingenuity would have joined hands with the knowledge, and he would have tricked people into constantly slipping away and getting into things that he wasn't supposed to. That would have
Yeah.
worked better for me, because you know how toddlers can get when they're not supposed to touch something.
I think they had a really good idea.
Yeah.
They had a really strong ending, and they had to kind of work backwards and fill in the blanks to get the full episode
But
done.
just like I thought you had him, like that could have worked. Like
I think they could have given more to do to the rest of the team.
again, yeah.
And that would have worked fine. Because they were so focused on Jack, and I get it. But maybe introduce a B plot line in this one. It doesn't need to be a lot, but just enough to keep both going at a pace that you have the
Oh,
feeling
that might be. We usually have a beeline. We didn't have a beeline.
No, there's no real B story in this one. So this one feels a bit slower.
Yeah.
And there's no real escalation, but it doesn't need it
No.
right
But-
until the end.
yeah.
But maybe something else that is going on that Sam or Daniel can be doing, or maybe Till, because he wasn't doing anything in this episode.
Maybe it was Castleman's birthday.
Yeah.
Maybe he always wanted to be on his G1. Like,
So yeah, that's like the only complaint I have. Like, but I'm really happy. It introduces a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that like I forgot that they introduced all this stuff this early. We're in season 2, and we're already getting the Ancients. We are getting the 8th Chevron. So
the
there's
furlings.
the
Remember the
furlings.
furlings?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love the furlings. Let's see what the next one's gonna be, because I, of course, forgot to put the page up.
I love how they're all bare-armed in the promo picture for some reason.
Yeah, in those later seasons,
It
they
is
get,
very 90s. Hi, Cat.
depending on if the DVDs and IMDb are following each other. The next one should be Holiday.
Holiday.
So yeah, that one, I have no idea what that one is, so I'm very curious. Let's go and find out, and then we will see you next week for the next episode.
I'm hoping it's gonna be Teal'c in a Santa hat.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
One can hope. Bye.